So, good evening, everyone. Today is a very apt day for us to be doing this little session with someone from the forces. It is also the birth anniversary of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and another gentleman who took India, who gave us this wonderful slogan known as Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. So let's facilitate and join me in welcoming Major Akash Agarwal.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is a veteran from the forces, and he has served the Indian Army in various capacities. I'm sure Sanjay ji will get it out of him shortly. Major Agarwal is now in the corporate sector, public sector, and this little book that he has, I hope I am correct in saying this, maybe, just maybe a little autobiographical also, of a naughty young child who stumbles around and finally finds his way. And this is about his journey and how he goes on to become a soldier. So basically, it is finding that laksh in your life. And then once you find it, then nothing stops you, nothing comes in your way. Every adversity in life becomes an opportunity to move forward. So this is what the story of March to Glory is all about. Interviewing Major Akash Agarwal is our very own Sanjay Chandraji. He is one of the pioneers of the Pioneer Book Club, Book Lovers Club, and he himself has written his latest novel, The Gymnast, is also about overcoming adversities, making them into opportunities, and succeeding. Ladies and gentlemen, both these books are available on Amazon also. Please feel free to go ahead and order, not just Amazon, but I think also on Flipkart, if I'm not mistaken. So please feel free to order them, and they are a wonderful read, unstoppable, unputdownable. With regard to Major Agarwal's novel, I will say that it is a very well written novel about how you overcome your difficulties, how various steps in life you keep moving forward. As long as you know what you want, then you will go and you will get it, irrespective of come what may. So the floor is all yours now, Sanjay ji. I'll mute myself and welcome Major Akash Agarwal.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Mridu, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all our readers and viewers, not only from India, but from across the globe. A very warm welcome to you all to this another episode of the Author Show. Before I start that, let me introduce Mridu also, because since she was doing the introductions, so let me introduce her. Mridu, in fact, is the guiding light behind Pioneer Book Lovers Club, and she was the motivation because of which this club started, and it is continuing now for the past 2 years. She is an avid reader, prefers fiction, but will read anything that she can lay her hands on. She reads not with the objective of gaining knowledge, but for the sheer pleasure. So that's what Mridu is. A little introduction about the club. The club was started in 2020. Now it's 2 years old, with the objective of bringing together a local community for the love of reading, writing, and review of books and literature. The club, then we started this also on the Facebook. We created a Facebook group, and now it's all about 150 odd members in the club. We also started a write contest in 2021, where we invited aspiring writers to write short stories based on a prompt released every month. We have closed the first season of the write contest, and we have about 20 odd winning entries, and we are working on the on editing the stories, so that sometime in future we expect to bring them into an anthology, into a book of short stories. And we are going to be launching the next season of the write contest very soon. Last year in September, to be precise, we started inviting authors also to our show, so that they could interact, readers could interact with their favorite authors, and authors could interact with the readers. We also stream live this episode on Facebook, so that readers are able to interact with their favorite authors. More and more readers are able to interact with their favorite authors. Those watching our show on Facebook Live today are requested to share the same on their page as well. Now, our author for today's show is Major Akash Agarwal. He is the author of March to Glory. And so this is the book that Major Akash has authored. An introduction about the author. Let me put the spotlight on Major Akash also. Yeah. So Major Akash is a veteran who has worked in various capacities in the Indian Army, the corporate, and the public sector. This book is the outcome of his inner calling to help the young generation visualize the world in a new light and bestowing recognition to India on a global stage. Short and crisp, like a true army man, I would say, or like a true corporate person or a public sector person, but short and crisp. So welcome to the show, Major Akash, once again.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you with us this evening. And so how since you have been a working professional, you worked for the Indian Army and then you switched to the corporate sector as well as to the public sector. Was it the other way around? I mean, the first the public sector and then the corporate sector, or was it the corporate sector and then the public sector?
So first of all, I'd like to thank you and the entire team of the Book Lovers Club to to feel it important that I could be here on this in this place out here. Then, sir, basically, I am from the Indian Army, worked with Indian Army for 6 years, and be in the corporate with some big corporate houses. And then finally, I came up with public sector banks.
Okay.
So, yeah. So basically, I've been into different capacities from security to sales and different things that I've been doing. And obviously, in the Indian Army, I was, serving the nation the best of my capacities.
That's really wonderful, because most of many of us who work in the government sector, they move from the government sector first to the public sector and then to the corporate sector. So that was the reason why I asked this question, because since my background is also from the government sector initially,
Sure.
I worked for the Indian Railways, which is, I would say, the second biggest Indian government's organization after the army.
Sure.
And so that was the question. So how did you transition into writing from a full-time job in the army, then the corporate, and then the public sector? How did you transition into that?
Sir, basically, writing for me was completely different from what I was doing actually. I never thought about in my life that I would write a book. Frankly speaking, I never thought.
Yeah.
But then, there's some things that happened in my life, and the incidents. Because being in a public sector organization, and as my children grew up in their lives, so those things brought up a lot of my memories from my past, my childhood. Then how what all happened in my life, where all I got stuck, why I got stuck, how was I able to overcome my shortcomings and come up to a place where I am today. So I just thought, why not be a person to share my story or share my inner feeling with the people around, so that if even a guy or a person can get a little motivation from what I had done in my life, or he could achieve what he wishes to achieve actually.
Yeah.
If I could help even a single guy. So that was the reason why I wrote this story, why I wrote this book, so that it could reach people around. They could get motivated, and they get to understand that, seeing things with closed eyes and then working on those things can get you results in the direction where you wish to go.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's really wonderful and a very noble thought. So, you talked about several incidents from your life, in your life, I would say, in your professional life. And so, would you like to share, other than the book, because we'll come to the book a little later, but other than the book, would you like to share some interesting anecdote from your life which has remained in your mind, so many years after it might have occurred in your life?
I'd like to, a small incident, like my son was in sixth standard when I tried to get him to a scenic school, that is the military schools. He cleared his written examinations also and was well for his medicals, but because of knock knees, he could not make it. Okay, it was a physical thing.
Yeah.
But then, I just kept on insisting that no, we should try for it, and it's not. Still, we consulted some doctors and all that. That can it be rectified? And now we are working on it. It's not, and he's studying for that exam again, trying to give it another chance. So it's like, I didn't let him lose his hope.
Right.
That it cannot be done, or because of this, this thing, this particular physical factor, he'll not be able to do it. So we are trying it both ways. He's preparing for the exam also, and we are doing physical exercises also, so that lacuna of knock knees can be cured. So these are the small incidents, that keeps on pulling me to help people around so that they can move ahead, irrespective of small problems that they face in their lives. And these problems, they take it to their heads, and they feel, no, that we've got stuck here, so we should stop. Now we should choose some other way. That's fine. Choosing another way is not wrong. I'm not saying that's wrong. But then don't get stuck. Keep moving. The real idea behind everything is just keep moving.
Yeah, so well said. So well said. I mean, just keep moving, and that's really a wonderful example of, keeping on moving, I would say. So, moving on, was it difficult, or have you found it difficult to manage both your professional as well as the literary lives?
So life, if I talk about life is actually not easy. You are you've got more experience than me, but then you have to find out times. You have to balance yourself out.
Yeah.
You have to go. It's said that from those nooks and corners, you have to keep pulling threads to weave your own cloth.
Right.
It's like the birds, they keep on, they get some thread from somewhere, some feather from somewhere, and then they make their nest.
Yeah.
So it's the same here also. Obviously things were difficult. It was not an easy task, managing your job or your life there in your job, and writing, and thinking about it. But then somehow took out some time from here and there and managed to do it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So please tell us a little about your book, March to Glory. Uh, you know, this is the book, readers and viewers, March to Glory, and Akashji would speak about it. I would not speak about it. I have read the book and I have enjoyed the book. So, but please, Akashji, please tell the readers.
So this book is, I'll say, it's a fiction come little stories from my life, from my friends' lives, and different stories from different parts, and some part of it is fictional also. This whole story starts from a family where, the kid is born, he's being, loved, he's being taken care of, everything is there. But then he no he sees certain dreams in his life. As he grows up in his life, he sees certain dreams, but he does not work, or he wishes to, but he is not able to, or he doesn't find the right direction where to go exactly. And when he cannot find the right direction, he is distracted from what he sees, from his dreams, from his interest, or his kind of life that he wishes to live. His distractions takes him in a direction which are societally wrong. As per the society, he goes in the wrong direction. And if he would have, kept moving in the same direction, then it would have been like he wouldn't have been able to achieve what he wished to achieve in his life. And then a mentor or a person, his guru, he comes in his life who teaches him, not only teaches him, but who is actually able to see his worth, which he, because of being in that atmosphere where he was like, he wanted to grow, he wanted to go ahead, but he couldn't find the right path. And his depressive mood, he is not able to see what his guru starts seeing in him, and he guides him what to do, how to do, where to do. And this guy, he works hard, and then he takes it he finds that spark in him and moves ahead. There are failures, there are a lot of uh, ups and downs in his life again. At every moment, at the last moment, he feels that no, I might or might not. But then that instinct that no, I will,
Yeah.
that pulls him towards his direction, and he achieves what he wishes to achieve.
So in fact, the setting of the book, since you come from an army background, so that is why the setting of the book is from the army, I would say. But
Mhm.
like as the blurb on the back jacket of your book says, glory comes to those who follow their calling. So
Yeah.
would you not, would you say that this would be true of any calling, whether it is army or any other pursuit that a person wants to pursue?
Sure, sir. The book might be, the background might be army. Okay. But the fact remains that anybody in his life, it can be anybody. It could be, anything. Uh, it's basically uh, your love to do certain things. It could be anything. If you are a musician, if you are a singer, if you are an artist, if you are a writer, or a electrician, or a technical guy, if you have got the love for your work, or if you've got the charm or the interest in whatever you are doing, you can go anywhere in this world. There's no stopping, sir. There's
Yeah,
no stopping.
absolutely, absolutely. As I say, it's the dreams. Actually, one must always dream with the eyes open, and then pursue your dreams passionately. So,
Yeah.
yeah, as you so very rightly said, that anything that you do, you should do it passionately. And yes, success is bound to come to you.
It is actually all about, your choice of life that you are looking for yourself.
Right. So true.
It is ultimately that what kind of a life you are looking for yourself. Don't go for what others are doing in their life.
Yes.
Because if we start comparing ourselves with others, if we start talking about others, then our lives, they are left behind. Then
Yeah.
we are just puppets in the hands of others.
Exactly. So true, so true. So now, on a lighter vein, in one of the chapters in your book, you have spoken about the engagement of Ameya. That's the lead protagonist with Nikita, and I don't know whether it was a long courtship or a short courtship, but he wrote a lot of letters during this courtship. That's what you have mentioned in that. So,
Mhm.
is it a bit autobiographical? Also, you also wrote a lot of letters to your wife.
Sure, sir, sure. It's basically, in those times, or when the story is being produced, in those times, these, as we today, yesterday, Pradhan Mantri ji has inaugurated 5G.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in those days, almost 20-25 years back, the phones were also very, very, they were not easily available.
They were not easily
There were
available.
landlines, yeah, that there were landlines and people sitting at high altitude posts or in Jammu and Kashmir or in Northeast and all. So the only medium or the general medium was letters, postcards, or greeting cards or things like that. So yes, you are absolutely correct in your judgment. Yes, of course, sir.
Yeah, yes. No, I do remember, because I got engaged in 1984 and then got married in 84, and I was in Calcutta and my wife was studying in Delhi. And yes, so there were no telephones available at that point of time, and so writing letters was the only thing that you could do. So that's what I also did. Yeah, so
That's
I
what
think
I'm
all of
saying, sir. Basically, in those days, the parents also used to, like, you know, you couldn't talk freely with the with
with
your,
with your
yeah,
fiance.
with
Yeah,
your fiance, or as, because today it's open. You've got telephones and everybody's having a mobile.
right,
In those days, it was a little problem.
right. I know. So okay, so what are the challenges as a debut writer? So what are the challenges that you have faced in producing your book and then selling your book? What kind of challenges a new writer faces?
Sir, the first and the most important challenge that I feel anybody who debuts or who tries to write is the ideas. Because whenever you start writing your start writing anything, there is always a dearth of ideas. There is always, you feel that there is a dearth of ideas. It is your feeling. You know, you stop just because you feel you're not writing good, or you're not as per the the format what you think, or the books that you have actually read, because you read books from people who are in the market since long, or who are really good.
Yes,
Okay, so you start comparing yourself with those guys. Then again, as I told you, comparison. So you start comparing yourself with those guys, and you feel that whatever you're writing is not as good. Whereas while writing the book, I personally feel that one should not stop. He should keep penning down his ideas and keep revising those things time and again. Because penning down ideas and then revising them automatically adds value to your book, and you are able to see where you are lacking, or what you should have written, which is not what is not coming up exactly.
right.
So once you stop, because once you stop, you stop. Then, picking up that flow again, it takes, maybe it can take you weeks or maybe months also.
Right.
So don't stop. First thing is, don't stop. Keep penning down whatever key comes to your mind, because whatever comes to your mind will someday be a part of that.
Yes. Very true. Very true. So would you like to read an excerpt from your book for the readers and the viewers, Akashji?
Sure, sir. Just a minute. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
I would like to read this small one, uh, page 45. Ameya was shocked that he had failed again. He was again out for the SSB interview, that too the very first day. He had not even thought about it. He did not know how he would show his face to his parents, his friends and colleagues, his relatives and the people around him, especially his uncle Aman. He seemed to be completely devastated. He did not know what to do. This time he did not even have the courage to call his parents and tell them that he had failed again. Somehow he picked up his luggage and sat in the vehicle to go to the railway station. He was so shattered that he thought of committing suicide in River Ganga in Allahabad. He went straight to a place which has the utmost religious importance and where the three great rivers meet, Sangam. He took a boat and asked the boatman to take him to the center of the river. He was perplexed, but he had made up his mind that that day he would commit suicide. When he was almost in the center of the river, he saw many divers jumping in the river and swimming out with the coconuts in their hand. He asked the boatman about it. The boatman replied that whenever the pilgrims throw the coconuts in the water for religious reasons, these divers dive into the river to get the coconuts. They then sell them back into the market. Ameya then asked the boatman, what about the depth of the Ganges at this point? The boatman replied, about 40 to 50 feet. Again, he asked the boatman that why these divers take so much risk just for a coconut. The boatman replied, because these divers had families to take care of. This led Ameya to think about his wailing mother and father. He thought that when a coconut thrown in deep water can be bought back to be of the same value again, his life was way more precious. So, so the basic idea, sir, is like, that although I'll say this is my weakness also here, that this boy Ameya, he tried to commit suicide. But this is again a lesson for a lot of people around who, just because of small failures or maybe big as per they perceive in their lives, they think of committing such acts. These are acts of cowardice. Because it cannot be justified. It cannot be justified in any way.
Yes, it cannot be justified. And as one of the books that one of my favorite books, there is a line there. The heroine keeps on the lead actor or the lead protagonist in that keeps on saying that, and tomorrow is another day.
Yeah.
So one should always keep that in mind, that there is always a tomorrow, and that is going to be another day.
Obviously, sir.
You can do a lot more tomorrow. So what is the next book that you are working on?
So the next book that I am working on is a book of small stories.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a book of small stories where it's something like stories from our daily lives, which can giggle you a bit at times, which can make you there can be a little part of sorrow in that comes in. So it would be a bunch of stories got together from the local life.
Okay, so would be looking forward to that book now. And where do you see yourself in the coming years as a writer?
Sir, I feel that I see myself to be able to help people out, to reach their goals, to be where they want to in their own lives, so that they grow, and not only themselves, but they grow and get glory for my country also.
Well said, well said, well said. And any parting messages for the readers and the viewers, Akashji?
Sir, I would just like to say that life is a beautiful thing. Enjoy it, love it, and live it to your fullest.
Ah, yes, so true, so true. Wonderful, wonderful. So now I open the floor for questions from the viewers and readers. So Major Akash is all yours, and I would, I'll request each one, I'll call out in the order that I see them on my screen. So first I see Mridu, and please unmute yourself, Mridu, and please anything that
Not
you
so
want.
much as a question, but as a little comment to what you said, sir. Dr. Kalam also said, dreams are not the ones which you see when you sleep. The dream, the actual dream is the one that doesn't let you sleep. So as I had said
Absolutely.
earlier, once you have your goal, then you will come whatever, you will get to it. So also एक पुराना गाना था सर, अगर याद हो, जीवन चलने का नाम, चलते रहो सुबह
बिल्कुल
शाम.
बिल्कुल मैम बिल्कुल.
Oh, it really goes with your book so very well. Most importantly, that I felt that your book gives us the basic idea that discipline is so important. It is not just military discipline or whatever. If you need to succeed, you need to have discipline, be it sports, be it any other field in life. Till you don't bring in that discipline, you will never be able to succeed. That is what your book actually amplifies even more.
Anywhere, ma'am, anywhere. If you
Anji.
Neeraj Chopra ji, he won, in javelin. Okay,
Mm.
I was just going through what kind of training and what kind of rigorous things,
Anji.
or and it was all very disciplined. In one, I think
Yes,
where he's written that for last so many years he's not had even a piece of pizza.
exactly. Exactly. I'll give you an example of Hrithik Roshan. वो बंदा
Yeah,
समोसा खाने को तरस गया है sir,
बिल्कुल
because
मैम.
they want that perfect. I mean, everyone has their own motive for doing things. Neeraj had his motive, Hrithik Roshan had his motive, but the idea is that if you do not bring in discipline, most of us, be the common man, so as to speak, just वो हम गंगा में बस बहते ही रहते हैं, बहते ही रहते हैं. हम वो डुबकी लगाने वाली बात कभी सोचते ही नहीं है कि जाओ डेप्थ्स में, देखो क्या है आगे, तैरो, swim against the tide. We don't bring that self into ourselves. So thank you so much for this book, sir. And Sanjay ji, more questions?
Yeah, thank you, Mridu. Now next is Nirmala, and Nirmala, please unmute yourself. And Nirmala is a multifaceted personality, and she's a painter, she's a poet, she's a writer. So I don't know, and she also keeps on participating in in writing workshops. She did a workshop in Oxford. Currently, she is doing a workshop with Anita Nair. I think that is
Yeah,
Nirmala. So please,
that
Nirmala,
is true.
yeah. So Nirmala, your question.
Yeah, my question would be, because I'm already a published writer, I know, because being in the civil service for 35 years, you stuck on, because I can't paint and sell, I can't write, and so that is why I stuck to it. And now I'm having a TED talk on 9th October about my journey itself. So many people approach me and said, ma'am, why don't you talk about it? So it's about, like, what is, how did I land up where I am from what I was? Because I was a darpok. I used to get so frightened, nervous, would never go anywhere without my parents. To that extent of coming, traveling, moving, everything alone you are trying to do. That was something which people couldn't believe. And then they said, after retirement, also, you have started studying. I was a self taught painter. I said, no, I have to go back to basics. I sat with 5-year-old and 18-year-old in an artist studio and started learning the basics of painting. Because even if I'm a painter, you should, that basic training and discipline. So that discipline had to be maintained, as you all said, because without that, you can't go forward. You will abandon it in between. So my question would be that, since you also have gone from government to corporate to, say, private, this public sector, I just wanted to know, in your journey of writing, there must have been moments when you suddenly felt like giving up and saying, what am I doing? This, every time you go to a bookshop, you see the thousands of books, you feel like crying. How much effort must have been taken in just for that book to appear over there? So would you looked at yourself and say, I will not succeed? Or you first wrote for yourself, or you said, let me write, then I will think about it? Was it a personal journey for you?
Ma'am, frankly speaking, as you said, there is always, there is like, there is always that you are pulled down by yourself. Because once you start doing a thing and you are not able to achieve that thing, your mind, it says, you would not be able to do it. Sometimes it says, but that is the time when you have to recollect yourself and you have to reassure yourself and you have to have confidence and confide in yourself and say, no, boss, I will do it. And that is the time that makes, feel that thing in yourself that yes, I can do it. And I will also see one day my book on those shelves where others' books are there.
Yeah, very well said and very good spirit, because for me, that is what made me become from not 16, but 60 plus, become a student, and I did my exhibition and achieved my dream of holding in Jahangir Art Gallery. For me, that was the achievement of a dream. So I think that was very good, well put. And the second one is, have you any time thought about the existing publishing industry, how they will receive you? Where will you stand, or you only, it was a very personal thing to you when you started writing, and then the marketing and the other aspects, the practical aspect, did you weigh it down together?
Ma'am, frankly speaking, it was more of personalized as of now, because I didn't go into that marketing or things as of now, because I just wanted to produce my ideas for the betterment of the people. Yes, obviously, once people receive it with open hands, then only would they be able to, you know, activate something out of it. But as of now, it was my personal thing, which I wish to let people know about how they could also help themselves.
Okay, thank you. Wish you
Thank you
all the
so much.
best. Have you,
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope you have good sales also.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nirmala. And so, that reminds me, my favorite author is Charles Dickens. And he wrote his books about 200 years back. So my motivation is that maybe 200 years down the line, my books would be available in someone's bookshelf, as his books are available in my bookshelf.
My bookshelf.
So that keeps me going. So next, I can see Ushaji. Ushaji is also a dear friend, and Ushaji, please unmute yourself. And she is also she writes good poetry. I don't know why she does not write more often. Once in a while she would send me a poetry that she has written, but that's only once in a while. Okay, Ushaji. So your question to Akashji.
This is very touching that the book is written with the idea of for the betterment of people, for us, like it's for all of us to better ourselves, starting from the youngsters going up to any age. I really like that. If the underlying current, everything's talking towards that, and experience of, I have to read the book, I haven't read, but after listening to the conversation and the main theme, betterment of something for each one to be able to deal with their circumstances and be better, face the world better. Thank you for this nice thought to put in the book, and this thought will remain with all the people who read the book.
Thank you
Lovely.
so much,
And the discussion was so nice today. Very nice. God bless you.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ushaji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now Vardhan. And so he is also a dear friend. I mean, I don't know, everyone is a dear friend, and I would believe that I motivated Vardhan so that he also started writing. And so Vardhan, please, all yours. Please go ahead.
So Sanjay ji, you are absolutely right. You motivated me, and if I have written something, it's only because of you.
Thank you.
So
thank
keep pushing me and keep guiding me.
Thank you.
Yeah. The question that I have is, who is your favorite author, and which of his book you like the most, and why?
So basically, if you see this, I had been reading this Grant Cardone, the 10x rule. He is my favorite author, and I liked his book because he says that in your life, whenever you wish to, achieve anything, you should always put at least 10 times the efforts. Because if you put that much of effort, there is nothing that is going to hold you or pull you back from not achieving what you wish to achieve.
Well said. I think that's something which will really help everyone to achieve their goals.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I wish you all the best and all the success in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vardhan. Shankarji, are you there? I can't see your face. So please unmute yourself, and if you could also switch on your video.
Yes, I'm very much there, and it was indeed a pleasure to listen to the interaction once again. Thank you very much, Sanjay ji. And it's always a pleasure every week or every fortnight to listen to an author and to go through the accomplished work. Heartiest congratulations and all the very best for the book of the author. And I look
Thank you so
forward
much,
to
sir.
read it. I look forward to read it. Thank you.
so
Thank
much,
you
sir.
very much.
Thank you, Shankarji. And last but not the least, Vandana ji. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Sanjay ji.
So, any questions that you have for the author? I am sure that all the questions would have been ironed out.
I have had all the questions in all the 3 months of publishing, right, Maj Akash? and I would like to read just 2 lines from the book, which compelled me to take up this story. And where he says, everyone starts alone, but to complete any successful journey, one requires support and inspiration from lots of people around him. Some may be known to him and some unknown. So that really motivated me that yes, if we are publishing, obviously we would need authors to get along the name. Otherwise, we are zero. And for an author as well, he needs publishers. So it's a both way process. So that inspired me so much, and it's such a nice story that as everybody has been telling here, that it is an inspirational story, inspirational, come fictional, come entertaining story for not even for the youngsters, but everyone around. And 2 very important points, that dedication, then inspiration, then your discipline is very, very important. And yes, the yesterday is gone. Live your life in the present, and look out for the best future ahead. Work towards that. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Sanjay ji. Thank you so
Nice.
much for organizing such a great platform. It's really, really, really good to get in touch with you.
It's a pleasure. In fact, as I say that, writing has helped me make new friends. And,
Right.
so that has been a great thing, and it has helped me to communicate with people across diverse professions, I would say. So that has
Right.
been a great thing. So thank you very much. And so thank you, readers, for being a part of this show. Please do read March to Glory, and do share your reviews, because reviews are very important for any writer, for him to evolve, for him or her to grow further. So please do read and do share your reviews. Thank you so much, Akash ji, for a wonderful.
Thank you so
great
much, sir.
episode.
Thanks a lot.
I would share the recording with Vandana ji so that she could share it with you. And,
Right, sir.
So that's it from us at Pioneer Book Lovers Club. Mridu, any parting words from
All I
you?
can say is thank you very much for writing a book like this. I'm sure it's going to be a source of inspiration to a lot of young readers specifically. I really hope that we can bring it into the lives of our young ones, so that we can read such inspiring stories. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being here with us, sir.
Thank you, Mridu ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sanjay sir. Thank you so much. It was
thank
really
you.
nice talking to everybody. It was
Yes,
inspiration for me also, sir.
no, it was wonderful. It was a wonderful. And so our next author on the show is Nirmala Pillai, as I said earlier also. She'll be on our show on Saturday, not on Sunday, next Saturday, 8th of October. Please do join, all of you who would, who are free on that day. Please do join and look out for the notification also on the Facebook page of Pioneer Book Lovers Club. Goodbye. Stay safe. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Akash.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry.